get y'all can hear me there. Brush my techniques up a little bit there. Got Mia K. Atkins. Welcome to the channel. Alchemist to God, I sincere. SW, Mr. Green One. What is the deal? YU, 793rd. Abdur Rahman. Seven Power. What's the deal? Shot Queen Jules Earth, peace. Welcome to the channel. They must be allowing me back into the Hotep fold. You gotta bear with us a little bit, Shot Queen over here. We used to be a Hotep channel. And then everybody that was Hotep started getting indicted, so then we became a biblical channel. Now we flow from the survival scrolls. But yeah, today, shout out to JF. You know, he brought this topic up. You know, this is a very basic topic, but you know, it's one. You know, it's often a topic of discussion. You know, indirectly. You know, but today, you know, let's go ahead and put that question out there, right? What is the difference between supreme mathematics and arithmetic? We throw that question out there, kind of like we used to do in the beginning. We used to have a question and then we come back, so we leave that open. While y'all typing your answers for that, yeah, today we was you know, we a little bit late. We you know, we just getting this back together in here. The inside. It's just it's not in order yet. But yeah, the show and prove, yeah, that threw a lot of things out of whack. I thought it was going to take me like a couple of minutes to straighten up, but here we are at 9:30. I hope y'all don't think I forgot the question, because I'm noticing that everybody's not answering at the same time. I'm funny that way. What is the difference between supreme mathematics and arithmetic? Anyone? Bueller? Woo! Look at those answers just rolling in. Is it me? Maybe my comment box is a little bit off pace there. Wise, you said the high science of everything in life versus equation of balance. As W said, supreme math is based around the principles applied to the numbers. Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else? Arithmetic is strictly numerics based. Anyone else? Anyone else? What about you, 7th power? The difference between supreme mathematics and arithmetic. AllahChrist guide says supreme mathematics is the keys to help you with your daily life, and arithmetic is understanding the unit of measurement. Seventh power, we're gonna wait for you. We're gonna wait for your answers. 7th power. Seventh power said one deals with the development of the quality of character through process, and one is measured. You know, you know, I'm gonna go with something you said right here, 7th power, right? Because, you know, if we to put it in like a soundbite form, you hit on something right there. See, it's quality versus quantity. It is that is a nice, succinct way to put it. You know, but everybody, you know, these is good answers, right? But for the people that maybe don't understand what it is that they're saying, right? See, supreme mathematics, right? Queen says supreme mathematics is what we live by. Arithmetic is pertaining to math in a form. Our God sincere says supreme math and arithmetic are both universal languages. Here's the thing, right? See, supreme mathematics, you gotta live it out. In arithmetic, right, you can't always live that out. Like, there's no negative numbers in reality. You know, you can't have a negative 10 apples. You know, in arithmetic, that exists, right? But this is what I'm saying about with arithmetic, right? You're just dealing with the concept, right, of the quantities. You're not dealing, see, because here's the thing, right? When you're dealing with arithmetic, right, you got things like the, how do you pronounce this? Let me, because I never recall. I know what it is that I'm talking about. Yeah, that's it right there, right? The commutative property of addition, right? In the commutative property of addition, right, it doesn't matter what order the numbers come in. So in the commutative property of addition, right, which is a law in arithmetic, there's no difference between 12 and 21. See, this is where we get into the gray area, right, when you hear people saying, listen, all that born in mathematics, and, you know, because, you know, in any time, right, that you start living it out, right, then these laws of arithmetic, right, is going to lead you into a gray area. Because see, let's take the same example, right? Let's say, uh, let's say I owe you $211, right? Now, 211, that borns culture, right? That borns 4. So what if I give you the $4, right, and say that that's equal to the 211? See, that's the difference between the quality of it and the quantity of it. See, when we dealing with supreme mathematics, you know, we dealing with an actual living science. And you gotta remember that the science is included with the arithmetic in supreme mathematics. So there's some things that, yeah, in the science of arithmetic, right, you deal with that for the purposes of calculation. But when it comes to actually living it out, nah, you can't, it don't work like that. You see, like we was talking about yesterday with the science of truth. A person can have their own truth, right? But it comes to a certain point where you gotta live it out. And then you will see that that idea, right, of the truth doesn't, when we say true and living, the idea of that truth doesn't coincide with the reality of life. And that's the difference between supreme mathematics, right, and just arithmetic. That's the difference between supreme alphabet and just the ABCs. See, because the principles that's in supreme mathematics, right, that's constant. But the way we communicate it in different languages might be different, because different languages, they got different ABCs. You know, you got people that have, you know, in the Spanish world, they've done that. They, you know, translated those principles, right, into this other dialect of Spanish, where they can communicate it like that. You see, today, right, is a type of day that in living, right, and living it out. See, right there, it just say 2 + 1 is 3. That's the arithmetic of it. But in the supreme mathematics of it, right, we got to make sure that we're not putting that 2 in front of the 1. See, we got to make sure we're not putting that 2 in front of the 1, right, and expecting to get understanding. See, because then you're only going to get misunderstanding. we have. I was waiting for the questions to start pouring in. But that's the reason why you meet some brothers, right? And then on today, they'll just tell you that today's mathematics is wisdom knowledge, right? They won't say all being born to understand. Now, it's not just a bill about wisdom knowledge. Wisdom knowledge is just an example. It's an example of where the differences between supreme mathematics and arithmetic become evident. But like I said, it doesn't matter, what is the numbers that you're looking at. You said, I've always started with wisdom staying rooted. What do you mean? How you start with wisdom? You said just dealing with explaining knowledge before wisdom. See, listen, I'm not exactly sure what you're saying. I'm not even saying what you're saying is wrong. Let me just explain to you what I'm saying. Your knowledge has to be complete, right, before you get to wisdom. Like your knowledge has to go to born, right? Your knowledge has to go from knowledge to born before you get to wisdom. Your wisdom has to go from knowledge to born before you get to understanding. Your understanding has to go from knowledge to born before it gets to coaching. Mecca divine wisdom. I think we're making a comeback. We're making a comeback as a Hotep channel over here. I don't know what we did, but we'll keep it up. Exactly. Your knowledge has to be complete. See, some things is so simple, right? that it might seem like it didn't really take time, but it did. You see, what we dealing with, right, is chess. You see, in chess, you got to know how all the pieces move in order to be successful. There's a lot of different pieces and a lot of different ways that they move. So it's a little more difficult to get a grasp on that. See, in checkers, you got one piece, two moves. You could either go that way or that way. That's it. Yeah, I don't know. Now I was born. I gotta check the stats. We might be over 12%. Can't call it. We're smoked out. I think smoked out helped us out by helping us develop our humanity. Yeah, man, you know how females are. They don't want to hear that guy body shit. Not too much of that guy body shit. Not why they popping that gold star. Like Divine Wisdom said, I'm a tad late, but ain't we always building and destroying? So how do you know your knowledge is born complete? You know by the fruit it bears. If your knowledge is born, right, then it's something. See, when you really know something, right, then you could use it. You see, you can know about something, but when you really, like, even when you deal with medicine, right? See, like if you break your arm, they know what caused that. They know how to fix it. Very rarely do you see a complication with that. But see, some other stuff where you see people get like high blood pressure, they don't know what's causing that to happen. They can't. It's not anything. They give you some pills to see if it works. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. You know what I'm saying? So, by that same token, when we say like, okay, if your knowledge is complete, right, of 120 lessons or any degree in 120 lessons, right, then you should be able to quote it. That's when you know that your knowledge is complete. You know what I mean? Like, in the medical field, right, for a person, like if they, like a surgeon or something, right, the first step they got to do is they got to observe a surgeon. I'm talking about after medical school, right? They got to observe a surgeon doing whatever the procedure is, right? And then after that, they got to perform the surgery under the supervision of an expert doctor. And then after that, still under the supervision of an expert, right, they got to show somebody else how to do the procedure. And that's when they know they got it. You know what I'm saying? In terms of what you're saying, yeah, knowledge is infinite, because remember, right, after after you go from knowledge to born, right, you're going to commemorate that real quickly. You're going to celebrate real quickly that your knowledge added a cipher. And then you're going to get right back to knowledge. Knowledge, wisdom, knowledge, understanding. And so yeah, in order for you to go from, knowledge to wisdom, some had to build. But you completing ciphers. You know what I'm saying? Indeed, Shot Queen. When your knowledge had a cipher, indeed, now you got experience. You know what I'm saying? You've been through that cipher. Now through your knowledge, they're gonna see your knowledge. See what I'm saying? Well, to those that understand what I just said. See, if you show up to the scene right now, right, and somebody's having a heart attack, and you know how to save their life, right? Through that, I know you went to some kind of, you dealt with some kind of health thing, maybe not medical school, but somehow you got the knowledge somewhere down the line. You studied, you got some kind of knowledge. And I can see that from how you knew what to do right there. That's why each time, just kind of dealing with what you was asking too, like a divine wisdom, every time you go through it, right? You're not going back to zero, right? You're not going back to one, right? Every time you go through wisdom at a cipher, understanding at a cipher, coach at a cipher, all these different things that you're going through, right? And each time you adding on, right? Or your culture, your power, whatever is adding a cipher to show and prove, right? That's how many times you've been through it. That's how many times you completed the cipher. You know what I'm saying? Just like at the end of the year, you don't return to the essence, right? Even though it starts over. Like whatever day you was born, right? The next day after that is not day one. Like the day after your birthday, if somebody try to pull one on you, you're going to tell them, I wasn't born yesterday. Sharing love, so all God and earth should be certified in first aid and CPR. That's a good idea. It is. Although, I like to, but that's not, you're right, exactly. That should be the actual case. But see, because, I always tell people, especially here at the G building, when people come in with different mental and emotional imbalances, right? I'm not that kind of doctor. But the reality is that when the Coca-Cola was out, you know, or when it was going full blast and, you know, you had all these lock-ins and everything, and you saw how many different things people was on their own for. You know what I'm saying? You know, or just the reality of, you know, our communities, you know, where we at, and, you know, what kind of access we have to the hospitals and everything. Yeah, all of that information right there, that type of knowledge, you know, to be able to save your own life, to be able to save your kids' lives, you know, to be able to save lives. You know, that's a reality. That's what I'm saying. That's one of the things where it's like, okay, yeah, a person could talk a good game. You know, everything could be all, you know, rosy as long as we talking. But then when it, you know, somebody really trying to save your life, you know, your own life, can you do it? See, because, you know, we talk about that all the time. See, a lot of people, even in terms of you being in knowledge, right? A lot of people saying they saving lives, but you really only converse with other people that have the knowledge. How you saving the lives of people that's already got the knowledge? You know, at least the same amount of knowledge you got. You know, like if y'all just come around, you know, and everything is like, yeah, word is bond, God, because boo, 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 yeah, God, no doubt, because boo, 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 word is bond, God, boo, boo, yeah, you know, y'all adding on or whatever, but you ain't saving no lives if that's the conversation. Because y'all both already know. Y'all already agree. You said brothers become too intelligent. Too intelligent for what? Oh, Annie. Oh, Annie is what they call the doll that you do the CPR that you practice on. Speaking over other people's heads. Is that because they come too intelligent? Nah, that's not a function of intelligence. Uh, you know, the more intelligent a person is, right? You know, the more well versed a person is in a topic that they speaking on or that they dealing with, the simpler they can explain it. Like if somebody explains something to you, right, and then the explanation has to be explained, they ain't explaining. You gotta break down the explanation. Something's wrong with the explanation. See, when you intelligent, right, then you will be able to converse with a topic, right, with a second grader and with a college professor. A lot of people think they teachers, well, you know, like Mecca Divine Wisdom said, you know, how do we know that? You know, like people could say they've been teaching, but all right, where's the people that you taught, right? And not only that, what did they go on to do? Because I'm saying this, right? And I hate to pick on the medical profession, but I'm just using an example. I'm not saying nothing about the medical profession, right? You know, let's suppose somebody had a medical school. They was like, look, I got a medical school, you know, and yeah, I'm a teacher and shit, you know, I get paid. Motherfuckers pay the tuition. That is my job, right? But then, what if every student you ever had that got a job in the medical field went to jail for malpractice? I mean, you know, technically you're still a teacher. You got that's your job. You got paid for people to sit there and take notes from you. But what did they go on to do? See, just like right now, right? Allah got his name on the street sign out there because of what we went on to do. You know what I'm saying? You know, and you know, even in terms of, you know, individual families. You know what I'm saying? You know, certain, you know, older members or whatever, you know, they might not enjoy certain things, but they got certain glory because of what the younger members went on to do. King said everyone is not qualified to teach. Some people are good to introduce you to something, but not to actually walk something through a particular skill or teaching. Well, look. You know, teaching is by grades too. You understand what I'm saying? Meaning, you know, when you was in the first grade, you wasn't learning calculus, right? But in that teacher, they might don't even have that degree of knowledge. You know, if they was in the first grade, they might don't have the expertise to be a calculus teacher, right? But that's their job. Like some people, because like you said, there's some people, right? They're not good with going out there and introducing the knowledge to people. But for people who got a little bit of knowledge, like if you got a little bit of knowledge, they could, you know, help you get to where you want to be, you know, in terms of understanding. You know, so it's like that sometimes. You know what I mean? Where you got, you know, a first grade teacher, second grade teacher, you know, you got an English teacher, a science teacher, a math teacher, a history teacher, you know what I mean? And you know, that's like kind of your experience as you walking through the knowledge, you know what I'm saying? You know, some brothers is biologists. You know what I'm saying? Where, you know, they break down every chemical of the body, and you know, you ate this, you know, in the milligram amounts. So this is the impact that it's gonna have on you. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got chemists, physicists. You know what I'm saying? All different kinds of teachers. So you know, some people that's their job. You know what I mean? So for them people, sometimes that's how they do their job. Right, is they go out there and they say things, right, that it's like, yeah, it might be a little bit above the people's heads, right, but because they right there with the people they say, okay, boom, I could get there. You know what I'm saying? So they say, yo, I want to get the knowledge. You know, this brother right here, just the way he move and the way he speak. You know what I'm saying? Let me deal with him. But then, like you said, now after you start seeing, you like, man, this brother don't know much more than he was saying on that. You know what I'm saying? Happens. You know. Even with that, you know, it's different ciphers. You know, like I always tell people, see, people, that's what people fuck up at now. See, people come and you can enroll in college now, right? You can enroll in college now without having gone to kindergarten in first grade. See, like, you got people that come to the rally, right? And look, they go straight to the side rallies. If you haven't been coming to the rally for years, months, and days, you really don't need to be in the projects. So you over there and you hearing certain things, and now you think you this, you think you close to us and all this because you know certain signs and certain history or whatever, but you never got the basics. So you go over there and you don't realize, like, nah, this wheel is turning a little bit faster than you think. Son-in-law said my brother-in-law was a teacher. He used to complain how all his students would fail. He said the students were not teachable. He left teaching alone. You mean in the Board of Education? In which years were these? Because I got a theory about that. I got a theory about, and I'm assuming, you know, he was in a school with black students, but I got a theory about that. Really all students, but Phil Jackson of rap said, I never met a guy who failed. They went perfect. Oh, you said I never met a guy who failed. They weren't perfect, but they all excelled in something one way or the other. Yeah, I see what you're saying. You know, that's a tricky statement. It's not tricky, but I'm saying there's angles to that. Like, if Firstborn Prince said that, right? There's a certain way I would answer that. We ain't even gonna go into that now. Like, if I walked in and he just said, yo, that right there, I was, you know. But, yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, if a person is a true and living God, right? You was a star somewhere. You was a star somewhere on some block. If it was in high school, somewhere, you did your thing. Even if it was just one time, for one moment, you're right. I don't know anybody that you're gonna say is a true God. That it's like if you're in the NBA, right? Like people in the NBA, no matter how much, like they can average 2 points, right? But if they in the NBA, they led the team in scoring somewhere. At some point, they was the lead scorer. Says some get into teaching professionally for the check without having the ability to teach, impact, produce, and properly teach, left alone, relate, or even relatable to babies. So you say Yonkers in 2013. So yeah, this is well after the time that I'm saying. But one thing I think, right, is the amount of marketing that they do to children, right? It's just tremendous. Like, I don't know how, I'm saying, like, when I was little, there was laws where you couldn't do certain advertising to kids. Like, cartoons came on Saturday, right? And you might see a little couple of toys advertised, but that was Saturday morning. Other than that, toy commercials and shit like that start coming on in November. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you ain't getting no toy. Well, yeah, I'm sure it was some people somewhere in the world. But for most people that I knew, you getting toys your birthday and Christmas. That's it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't 1,000 movies, every year coming out, Shrek, because see, all of this stuff came out after I was a kid, so I don't really know, what do you call that shit? The Harry Potter and the all these different cartoon movies that they had out for kids, and then now a lot of those first kids, right, that was raised on all of that, those are the same people looking at the Marvel movies and shit now. That's the cartoon shit for grown people. You know what I'm saying? So saying that to just say that there was so much more attention kind of to pay. You know what I'm saying? Like kids now are spending their attention on 1,000, and I'm just talking, we ain't even bring the phone into it. The internet, all these different things, and then that's on top of all the, I'm sure, all the same peer pressures, that existed, when I was a kid, is still around, but now it's on top of all this other stuff that you got to pay attention to. You know what I'm saying? Where, you gotta be hip on all the different, whatever's this, whatever's the sneakers, whatever's the pants, you gotta be hip on all this stuff. All the stuff you gotta pay attention to, you know what I mean? When you got time to be doing homework and shit like that. You know what I mean? Especially for people that, if there's no particular emphasis on it, right? From the house. Not saying that they don't encourage it, not saying they don't ask their kids if they did their homework or check their homework or whatever the case may be, right? But it's just, to me, it just seems like, kids is just way more distracted. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at a kid's face that's playing outside, right? And just look at their face. Just look if they in this world with you, right? And then contrast that with a kid that's playing that video game or watching that TV. They be in, like, you could call them, right? They be like this. If you call them, they be like, yeah, and they just be zoned out. Like, if they playing that game and you call them, they don't hear you. Like back in the days, we should be playing. You could be playing, you playing, stickball, kickball, basketball, handball, whatever. You hear your mom's call you. You're like, oh shit, yeah, I'll be right back. You know what I'm saying? It's just the distraction level right now is I don't know how kids do it. Even with that, like, when I go in the store now, I'm like, dude, I might be one of these crazy little kids now. If I was a little kid now, because I'm like, damn, man, like, you kind of need a little bit of bread if you're a little kid. Like I'm saying, just to stop at the corner store, get a little chips, whatever, like you use 25 chips, you share with the block back in the days, right? Or for a 25-cent bag of chips. They don't even got that no more. For you to get some fucking chips, you need $1 and shit. But see, like my daughter, she go to school in downtown, midtown, where, price is sky high. You know what I'm saying? How do you be a little kid now? Like, I would have had to listen. They thought I was on my grizzly that last time. If I was a kid right now. Man. Man, at any rate, that's my that's the kind of idea I got about what's happening to the young kids. That it's just too much distraction. I don't know how they would. Like I remember back in the days, like especially after the pool closed, everybody ready to go back to school. Like if you under I say 35 is pushing it. If you might be on the other side of the line, but I would say if you under like 35, right, you don't really know what it's like to be bored. Listen, you got 793 to tell you about it. Where like, it wasn't like, when like right now, there's like 10 or 15 channels where it's just cartoons 24 hours a day. You can watch cartoons. Back in the days, cartoons came on Saturday from like 5 in the morning until about 11, 12 o'clock. And then in the afternoons, from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock, you might see a little Tom and Jerry, Batman. And after that, shit was boring, man. That was one of the reasons we was getting into all kinds of shit. You know what I'm saying? If you, like now, I see kids that they don't even want to go outside. Like they don't even want to go outside. They good back in the days, there wasn't no game. And even if you had a game, right, the mothers that was around at that time, you wasn't going to be playing on their electricity like that. Had that bill sky high. You don't play that. Divine King, exactly. That's what I'm saying. You don't even see kids playing outside like that no more. Because that's how much their attention is already. There's so much stuff in there. You got 15 channels of cartoons. You got the game. You can play with people in Japan and shit. And I'm telling you, this shit has been going on a minute. I remember my son and shit, I'm hearing this motherfucker, he yelling in the room and shit. What the hell is he yelling at? I go in there, this nigga's in there like the control shit at the Pentagon. All kinds of screens and shit hooked up, laptop over here. What the fuck is you doing? Oh, you got that, and you got Uber Eats. Fuck you going outside for? Y'all know people like my son, this nigga's up in the room like it's DEFCON 5 and shit. Divine King said, my nephew cried one day because I told him to turn his video game off and I was going to take him to the fair. He was really hurt that he wasn't going to be playing video games that day. Now look, that's a perfect illustration of what I'm saying. We used to live to go to the fair. Like, that was some shit right there. Well, look, no matter how mean your parents was, no matter how strict your parents was, they took you to the fair. It don't matter what you was fucking up at that time. Going to the fair, man. Haunted house, all that shit, man. See that, today, somebody cried because they was being taken to the fair. I mean, that is crazy to me. That is 180 degrees. Like, that is 180 degrees, man. Where, look, if you told me, nah, I ain't taking you to the fair, you stay in the house and play. That's when I would cry. Ain't taking you no place. December 23rd, some more people says he has to drag his son off the game just to play catch. About one kid on a bike and a scooter by himself going up the block, younger than his son. Yeah? Shot Queen said, I will punish my seed by taking his games. You could say, peace, Queen. I know my behavior was wrong and it won't happen again. listen. The young man is, he understands scripture. you got, you gotta give him credit for that. He's learning how to speak womanese at a young age. Should serve him well. Seven Power said, well, there's nothing wrong with not wanting to go outside sometimes, but not all the time. I mean, that could be the new thing, Seven Power. But, yeah, when I was growing up, there was something wrong with that. Like, there was something wrong with that. Like, see, that's what I'm saying. We didn't have, you know, like, if this cat over here don't want to play the game with me, right, then I can just play against somebody in Japan. Like, when we want to play, right, you got to come outside, son. Listen, you got to come outside. What is you got to do? You got to do something for your moms? All right, let me help you do that so you can hurry up and come outside. You in the house. Man, get the fuck out of here. That's once upon a time, there was something wrong with that. Hey, Scrams, we can't listen. We talk to your moms for you. You in trouble? Let me talk to your moms. You know what I'm saying? You need to be outside, son. As we can't do this right here. We got 5-on-4 that don't work, son. Don't work like that. And see, Divine King records. Is to help your friends out so they can be outside with us running around. Clean the whole house up so we can go outside. Yeah, damn right. We got games to play. Yeah, now I was born, exactly. Yeah, you don't want to come outside. You must be scared somebody's going to beat you up. Shaq Queen said he was in power now. Yeah, that's pretty much the age. He's like he's right on the other side of the line. Which, I don't know, that's nothing, I don't know where you're from. But in New York, my son, my two sons, they in the last generation that played outside in New York. Hey, don't get me wrong, they fly with the games too, I just told you. So they got the whole Pentagon Command Center, but they played outside. You know, basketball court, you know, football field, you know, going to the park, all of that. You know what I'm saying? Football team, basketball team. You know, after that, it seems to just have dried up. You said, where do you think we headed to consciously though? What you mean? Yeah, see, free wisdom, you know, I don't know if you was fucking with those JanSport strings. That's another bad turning point. I don't know what the fuck was wrong with y'all. Y'all should have been stopped in. I get the mind with us and my seeds of knowledge born and wisdom knowledge, and they played outside first, then they could go into the commence. Yeah, but you know, like I said, it depends on too. You know, a lot of things are dependent on that, like where you from. You know, in New York, that particular, you know, the games and all of that kind of took hold. There was like a turning point. I think it was when like what was that? I think it was a Sega Dreamcast or something like that. And that's when it really like the something happened during that time too, where that's another thing. The gameplay in the house wasn't really comparing to the gameplay in the arcade at that time. And somewhere around that time, the technology just advanced to where I remember seeing the game and I'm looking at this shit, right? And I'm thinking I'm watching a real football game, right? And then I hear fucking Madden talking and shit. I'm like, oh shit, this shit is fucking game and shit. Seven Power said we see a difference in this time. We see a difference in our time and this time. Yeah, you gotta tell me what you mean by that, huh? What do you mean? Lauren Kane said he got a difference as far as kids not wanting to be outside as much where you can play video games online and be in California playing NBA 2K or Madden with someone from New York. Yeah, and air conditioning. Like nobody was in the house on Saturday. See, this is what I'm saying. Life is just totally different. It's totally different. I'm telling you, a lot of it is based on what year your mom was born in. See, my mom was born in the 40s. So see, they was about chores, those women from that era. So see, you know, like now, kids just sleep till they get up. There was no shit like that. You're not sleeping in because it's Saturday. If you sleeping too long, that must mean you don't have nothing to do. If you need something to do, I got something for you to do. So see, that was one thing right there. I just get up and go outside and get away from her. See, you start getting to those moms that was born in the 70s and the 80s. You sleep on the couch in your drawers. Sleep on the couch in your drawers, leave dishes in the sink, all kinds of shit. See, that's what I'm saying. It's a rest haven in there now. All of that different, all of that. See, all of that kind of shit that you can do now. You know, look, you got your own snacks and shit. You got your own snacks and shit, like fruit roll-ups or whatever they call it. You know, whatever they got now. It was none of that shit, you know, you're going to eat when I make dinner. And if you're not my husband, don't be asking me what I'm cooking. See, it wasn't. See, we grew up with martial law and shit. Martial law in the house, right? So you go outside, man, with freedom. You know what I'm saying? It's some kind of at least meritocracy out here where we see all these different things where you talk about want to be in the house. Wasn't really a decision like that when I was growing up. You getting your ass out. That queen said they can't be on her couch with drawers on her. And she was born in 1970. See, I don't know. Now look, this is another thing I don't know. You new to the channel, Shot Queen. So you don't know I have a, I don't know what would you call it. It's not necessarily it's not a rivalry. It's a how would you say it? Sometimes we have some smoke for Generation X women on this channel. But, see, Shaq Queen, it sounds as though you're not one that I'm talking about in terms of, like if you're from Generation X, right, and you was raised a certain way, right? And I noticed that a lot of Generation X people, right, then when it came time to raise their kids, they acted like they didn't know what was going on. You know, as if they hadn't been raised, you know, in a time where the principles was clear. You know what I'm saying? Where, you know, some of the freedoms, right? Some of the freedoms that they allowed their children, right, wasn't freedoms that they grew up with. But it appears that you're still a taskmaster. You're still a taskmaster. Just like the good old days. Mr. Green once said, outside is different nowadays. The way I see it, it's more dangerous for youth, teen, and young outside activity, hence all avocation of the home convenience like PlayStation or Uber Eats. You know something? Now look, I agree with that. I do think, now look, in their defense, right, remember that Generation X women, right, are having their kids at, at least in the inner cities, right? They having their kids at the peak of the violence. Like they having their kids in the late 80s, early mid 90s. When it's in New York we got 2,500 murders outside. So yeah, they trying to protect them. You know what I'm saying? And they grew up, you know what I'm saying, with a group of brothers that is like, yeah, they just wigged out. You know what I'm saying? They get shot, they don't stop. So they definitely was trying to, protect the next generation from it. Mecca Divine Wisdom said, I'm right at the very end of Generation X. Alright, now I'm going to tell you. 1976, 77 is the crucible. It's still Generation X for a couple of years there, but I'm just telling you. Those 77, 78, 79 people starts to get a little shaky. See, I'm going to tell you what it is about them. See, by the time they was being born, right? See, the baby boom generation, right? That's the parents of Generation X. They was getting a little older. You see what I'm saying? So those of us that we was born, when our parents was young and they was gangster, we had a little, you see what I'm saying? See, like when I was born, see, my mom was she still was in her gangster phase. Take no shit. She's still energetic. You know what I mean? Like I could be playing in my room and shit, right? She'd come in there. See, by the time my sister was born, she's just yelling from out the room. You gotta cut it out. See, with my pops, it was the opposite. Time I came along, mellowed out. You know what I mean? Look, you fucked up right there. Let me drop a jewel on you. Drop a jewel on you about that. The time, you start getting into 80s. See, you start getting words. You start getting new words in the English lexicon, like child abuse and shit. She has. When that came out, like 81. SW, when child abuse came out, like 81, 82. Because I never heard of it in the 70s. I remember I started hearing about it. So, there's some slight differences. there's some slight differences in early Gen X and late Gen X. Where do you think is the disconnect between the parents and the seeds? Society. See, people don't really interface with each other, right, no more. People interface with the society. See, like over in them places like Afghanistan, they don't interface with the society. They don't go to school. They don't interface with the society. So everything is the family clan. You understand what I'm saying? But you know, each generation you plugged in to the stuff that was going on in society at that time. See, everything else is the same. Like, yeah, we still gotta eat, we still gotta do all these things, you know, but, you know, society, you know, how we doing it and everything, now we might disagree with each other. Right, King Lee said everybody's on the phone. You know what I'm saying? Where, you know, there's no, you know, even that, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, things is moving so quick in society. You got so much different aspects, right? Where it's like, right now, you could go to somebody's house, right? Not Shaq Queen's house. But you could go to somebody's house, right? And let's say it's 5 people that rest in that house, right? The parents and 3 kids, right? And everybody would be on their phone doing something different. As opposed to back in the days when What's Happening came on, we all watched What's Happening. From my great-grandparents all the way down to me and my brother laying on our stomach looking at the big screen, we all was looking at the same show. You know what I'm saying? Young women grew up and watched the same soap operas that their moms watched. But as the, you know, the social order, the compulsory education, all of them things, then yeah, you know, people, they kind of dance into a different genre. So Queen said, if you let your child sit and watch Barney all day, you have to teach your child. See, that's you know, the word kindergarten means child's garden. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's one of the, you know, when he say, you know, he likes the devil because the devil gives him nothing. You know, that's one of the nothings right there. You know what I'm saying? Is you know, all of these things that seem to be just helpful childhood education. You know what I'm saying? It appears to be helpful childhood education. You know, everything from preschool to, you know, these child programs, Barney, whatever, where they, you know, appear to be, you know, teaching you some type of morals and all of that, you know, but, you know, a lot of that stuff is designed to just indoctrinate much earlier. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, there is a certain hardness of the brain that occurs around 6 or 7 years old. You know what I mean? And I could tell the difference in my kids that, you know, like my oldest son, you know, he's the least woke. You know, both of my sons really, you know, wokeness don't really, because by the time they got to school, being that at that time in New York, they didn't have preschool. And I think for my oldest son, they didn't even have kindergarten. Like, I think he might have started in the first grade. So see, by the time he got there, he had his kind of like, you know, I know who I am and what I do and what I don't do. You know what I'm saying? And the first evidence of it was, you know, the teacher says a note home with him saying, you know, look, you know, we're trying to get him to participate with the Pledge of Allegiance, and he won't do it. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like we had spoken to him about it or nothing. It wasn't like we told him don't do it or nothing. You know, it wasn't like, I don't recall ever a time where it was like the Pledge of Allegiance and I was like, yo, that's a terrible song, or let me catch you. You know, it never came up. You know, so, you know, we even asked him like, yo, you know, so I told him like, look, you know, just you know, just stand up. You know, you ain't gotta say it, but you know, just out of respect, just stand up. It's like, nah. You know, and he was that way. Where it's like, yo, it's certain things, he just has certain principles where, look, I just take the ass with him, but I ain't standing up. You know what I'm saying? So he ended up breaking the teacher. Because it was like, you know, why, you know, what can I really, you know, say? But see, he had already his mentality, like, whatever this is that y'all, I don't like how this is going down. Like, I don't know this song, I don't know where y'all got it from, this whole thing, you know, he just had a natural aversion to doing that. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to my daughters that went to preschool, you know what I'm saying? They eat some of this woke shit up. And just, I see how even their rewards meant less to my oldest son. Like when he won an award one time, right? The George Bush Academic Award or some shit, right? So it was like, yo, some shit where it's like a banquet or some shit, like a not banquet, but like a, you know, we had to go somewhere and whatever. So they gave him the award, right? It's like they gave him the paper. So when we was leaving, when we got in the car, he was like, that's it? Like this, you know, and then he just put it down and just, when we got back to the house, he just went on about his business. Like he don't, you know, none of that shit don't impress him. As opposed to, especially my oldest daughter and my youngest daughter, it's like, yo, the approval down there is, and to me, that's at least one of the big differences that I saw. You know, with the preschool stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know, my middle daughter, you know, it's not really the best way to avoid that. But one of the reasons she avoided as much indoctrination is because she really was more into the social atmosphere of it anyway. You know, the more the approval of her peers was a little more important to her than the approval of the teachers, you know. But it just shows you that's the indoctrination that they do. So really, man, you know, you gotta teach them already, man. You know, even when, you know, because that's one of the things that, you know, as a nation, right, is that, you know, as a nation within a nation, right, we're, you know, in order for them to be successful, we send our babies amongst the colored people. And see, what happens is, right, a lot of times they don't come back. And that's not a 5% phenomenon. It happens to, well, here's an example, right? Chinese people. I don't know exactly when the date was, but they were saying that before, that there came a time when most of the Chinese students that was coming here for college was staying. And once they got their degrees, they got jobs over here in America, and they stayed, right? But that once China started prospering, right, and you start getting, like, you know, right now it's supposed to be China, they create the most new billionaires or whatever, right? Once it got to that level, then the Chinese students was coming here and getting a degree and then going back to China. Because they can prosper at home. You know what I mean? The same thing happens to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Africans come over here, you know, originally they supposed to get their education, but then they end up staying because the prospects of what they could do with that knowledge and wisdom, right, is more potential here. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing, you know, if we don't create an environment where they could be successful right here. You know what I'm saying? Other worlds, other people, right? You know, other groups. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not singling them out to say nothing bad about them. I'm just saying the example of, you know, how people live. You know what I'm saying? Rather a person, like, you got people in New York that been here since before I was born, right? Don't speak a lick of English. Because they can exist, you know, they can exist in 181st Street, Corona, Queens, 116th Street. You know what I'm saying? There's areas in New York where they can exist and not have to speak English. Have a job, have an apartment, all of that. No doubt, Shaq Queen. We'll see you next time we go live. You know, hit the like button and hit subscribe so you can know when we on. And we'll be back. I'm about to tap out myself too. You know, that's how these people do. Don't get too caught up with them. See how you tapped out at the right time? See, you don't know these random Jewish people like I know. Don't let them hide behind these righteous names. But just saying that, you know, different people, you know, that's what they could do. You know, even if they get their college degree, then they can still go back amongst whoever's their group, right? Whatever's their group, and prosper. Have you noticed that the generation gap has shrunk? Grandma was 70 and now she's 50. Well, I don't know if you say fortunately or unfortunately, but I'm not from one of those. I'm from the other kind of families. Uh, Neither one of my grandmothers was 40 when when they became a grandparent. My grandmother, whew, she might have been 30, 31. I mean, my father's mother, my mother's mother, about 37, 38. You know, my great grandmother, whew, yeah, I can't. I'm trying to think. I don't even know how old Albert Jr., Cleveland, all of them is. I don't even know when they was. Yeah, I think when I wouldn't say I noticed the generation gap getting shorter, at least not through my family. You know what I'm saying? In fact, in my individual family, yeah, actually, yeah, my kids is the oldest generation. Like in terms of, you know, I got a granddaughter, but other than that, they the oldest people that didn't have kids yet. But I tell you what I did notice though is the gap in how they act is way different. The gap in how they act is shrinking. You know, people that's that's 50 and people that's 25 is much more likely to be, uh, you know, acting the same and doing the same things, wearing the same clothes and shit like that. You know, like my grandmother wasn't wearing the shit my mom's was wearing. You know what I'm saying? You know, but right now, it's like you could go on Instagram and, you know, see the women taking the pictures with their daughters with. So in that way, but and I'm noticing women with fewer children. Like back in the days, like when somebody was an only child, that was kind of wild. Like I didn't know too much people like that. Shallah, you keep coming in right at the end, man. Right as I'm about to wind it down. But before we wind it down, because they got me going on tangent after tangent. For a lot of the new people that is coming in right now, we run this back down before we be out. We was discussing the differences between supreme mathematics, right, and arithmetic. And one of the ways that we put it the simplest, right, is that you're dealing with quality versus quantity. You know what I'm saying? With supreme mathematics and supreme alphabet, supreme mathematics is something that you got to live out. Whereas arithmetic is more just about the concept and ideas and the calculations through those concepts and ideas. So there's certain things, right, that if you're dealing with arithmetic, right, one of the things that illustrate the difference is the commutative law of addition. So in the commutative law of addition, right, to use today as an example, right, there's no difference between 12 and 21. But see, those of us that know supreme mathematics, right, we know that there's a huge difference, right? And this is where, we was also discussing how this is applied to, when brothers say that, be careful with all of that born in mathematics and all of that. Even when you say today's degree is wisdom, knowledge, or being born to understanding, right? Because when it comes time to live that out, right, wisdom knowledge is wisdom knowledge, and understanding is understanding. See, if you tell me that's the same thing, right, let's deal with another applied science of arithmetic, right? Another applied science of arithmetic is money. So if a person owes you $21 and they give you $3 and say, I bond it for you. Now it's complete, right? You're going to say, now cipher, that's not equal. This $3 does not equal the $21 that you owe me. See, that's the difference, right, between the actual applied living science of it, right, and just the idea and the concept of it. You see what I'm saying? In arithmetic, you can have negative this, negative that, right? In the real science of money, you can't have negative $10. Even if you owe somebody $10 for the purposes of calculation, right? As an accountant, you could say it's negative $10, but you don't have any money. You have $0. If you had any money, and you was a good person, you would pay that person their $10 back. But there's no such thing as negative $10. And see, these is just some of the places where the differences is illustrated where you can see it. But at the end of the day, right, when you want to be able to tell what's the difference, right, you got to apply it. See, a person can't be negative 5 years old. It's just 5 years before you was born. Stephen King said, "Where's Wise Prince?" He's on the West Coast. I ain't see him in here today in particular. What you looking for him for? Oh yeah, nah. He didn't come in today, which I came on late, so that could be the case. You know, some people maybe they didn't get a chance to get on because of that. You know, but getting back to what we was dealing with in terms of the science of supreme mathematics versus arithmetic, right? You know, like I said, arithmetic, right, this is pure numbers. But in supreme mathematics, right, the science is included. See, the science, the history, all these other things is included when you're dealing with supreme mathematics. See, in supreme mathematics, in arithmetic, right, 3 dimensions is only about lines. It's about lines and sides. You see, in supreme mathematics, when you go to the 3rd dimension, now you're talking about walking and talking. See, even this right here, the screen right here, this is 2 dimensions. That's what you're just doing in knowledge right there. That's 2D. See, now if you got that power, see, now when we talk about the difference, this is where we separate the men from the Mises. See, if you got that power, right, then you might be able to take some of the things what I'm saying right here, what you observing in 2 dimensions, right, and make it walk and talk in 3 dimensions. See, when you study the lessons and you study the paper, that's 2 dimensions. The paper is just the length and the width. You know, technically, yeah, the ink has some degree of depth to it, even if it's microscopic. But you're just looking at the 2 dimensions. That could be real or don't be real. It don't matter what it is. It could be a cake recipe. That's just in 2 dimensions. See, when you actually live that out and you make the cake, see, now it's you walk and talking. Now it's walking and talking. See, that's about a little bit more, right? That's about a little bit more, right, than just the measurements of it. See, because you put it in the 3rd dimension, right? Now look, when you put it in 3 dimensions and you make it walk and talk, it don't matter if you 7 feet tall, right? Or if you 3 feet tall. It don't matter if you 300 pounds or if you 100 pounds. See, what would those measurements make a difference, right? When we talking about bringing this knowledge right into real life in the third dimension. But see, if we only dealing with arithmetic, then that's the whole qualities of what we're talking about. So we would have to have those measurements. See, when I tell you about the true and living God, right? Or even look, if you ever met some of these legendary brothers, you ever meet some of these legendary warriors in the nation, and you like, this little guy right here, this is what you talking about? And how many people ever met Father Divine, right, in person, and was like, this the guy y'all been talking about? Like, this can't be him. Like, now I'm talking about the other Father Divine. That's like 6'8", 280. That I'm talking about that one. Nah, that's him right there. Lots of other brothers, you would you might be shocked. But that's the difference between supreme mathematics and arithmetic. We got any questions out there as we wind this one down? Whoa. So today's mathematics, wisdom, understanding. You better hope, hopefully wise you is not in the, hopefully wise you is not in the room right now. How long does it take a butterfly's heart to beat? See, that's what I'm saying. You know, that would be a great arithmetic computation. Did you King find his phone? Probably not. But by tomorrow he'll have a new one. That's the thing about you King. Can't keep a good man down for long. This Friday, yeah, I'll be here in the pocket. Rock 120. You back? Hey, look, Rock 120. You better watch out, I got 4 for them. I got 4 for them. You don't want to meet the hellfires. Uh-oh. No, Sanji, not the fire. The fire and brimstone. for you. Now, it's too late, Rock 20. It's too late, Rock 120. I'm already number one. You got that, Rock 120? Had to speak in this voice now. This is the new way. Be careful, I got 4 for those. You said you might have to add Minister Freedom to the list. That's got to be another list. It's only 4 devils. But where you wanna, unless you want to go to Christianity, you want to deal with Christianity. They got a couple more devils for you. How did the Zoom meeting go? All flames, Rock 120. All flames. You ever think about Rock 120? He Rock 120, he type of brother, man, that we used to come visit you. We used to come visit his block. Rock 120 made me laugh. He said, in terms of the situation, Minister Freedom played his part. If someone can bring up his head to Mecca, that would be great. If someone can bring his head to Mecca, that would be great. So wait, you're advocating for Minister Freedom. You're advocating for Minister Freedom to be returned? I don't understand what you're saying. You see, you back on your COINTELPRO shit now. Like you dropping like who we supposed to be, like the U.S. people. We supposed to be like us, and Minister Freedom supposed to be like the Panthers and shit. Hey, Rock 120, we know who you doctored the audio against. You asked Minister Freedom for the Zoom link. Oh, what he told you? He told you no? Woo, P. Foster. That's where you need to be. So because Minister Freedom didn't give you the Zoom link, he's not a devil, and somebody needs to bring his head to Mecca. I'm just asking, Is that about right? You said the sword is an emblem of justice. It comes out of the sinner man's mouth. So it's symbolic. I don't really want his head. Let's be real. Alright, so what do you really want, Rockman? Like, what would it take? What would it take for you to end this investigation? J. Edgar. We've already seen the video that you doctored. I'm just saying, in your perfect world, if we were all living in your truth, what would it look like? How do we get from here to your utopia? Because you know a lot of the stuff that you're doing, my man, this is culture degree in the 1 to 14 shit. So you don't really have a thing that you want. Peace to the frauds. So that's what I'm saying. Is it that you just want to keep making these accusations? Because, Supreme Mathematics, as we're discussing today, is the problem solver. So, clearly, there must be some ideal way that you think this should be. Saying peace to the frauds, that's not very constructive. Well, there you have it. You said there was no doctored audio, don't lie to the people. Well, I actually played the audio. I played the audio right here on the channel. Peace, born savior. I mean, I played the audio here, and so everybody made their own decision. I was able to get the Minister Freedom actual link. Yeah, go ahead, add on to today's mathematics, Rock 120. Now we talking. See, that's now you sound like 5%. At least like you know us or something. Hey, wise you, did you ever hear back from Love, Cipher, Victory, Equality? Did I go to BCC? Yo, my man, I thought we were supposed to be discussing today's mathematics. You just said you wanted to add on to today's mathematics. Now you asking me about Bronx Community College. Hey, let's deal with today's mathematics, right? And then right after that, as soon as we finish that, ask me about BCC. See, after you acknowledge my wisdom, you can wisdom your knowledge, and then we can make understanding understood. Hold up. When you got the knowledge, you said after I acknowledge your wisdom. You said after I acknowledge your wisdom, I can wisdom my knowledge. I don't know you, brother, but I was under the impression that I was making knowledge born before you had, before you even had the knowledge for me to be knowledge in your wisdom. See, these are these places right here where I'm saying, like, see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, I hear you. And there's probably some people out there that you could say that to and it applies. You see what I mean? But in real life, no, this is not true. That's the theoretical hypothesis of supreme mathematics. You would tell me your firstborn prince story another day. What do I want to hear your firstborn prince story for? When did you get the knowledge? Let me explain y'all something, man. Prince wasn't that type of person. Now you think you would come on here and just use his name? See, you explain, say, I don't worship the body, man. I don't worship the body. The last words Prince told me was when you put the wisdom before the knowledge, that's how you born a misunderstanding. Ladies and gentlemen, Rock 120's just taught us today. Hey, look here, ladies and gentlemen, you know, that's paying attention to the, look, now you know. Now, look, now we all know. And knowing is half the battle. You wanna hear my firstborn Prince story? Rock 120? I'm trading a little firstborn Prince story. How long did you have the knowledge when firstborn Prince told you that? Because see, some of us know firstborn Prince in real life and some of us don't. So see, you said a very clever thing there. You said the last words that Prince told you. Tell us about some of the words before that. Come in here name dropping. Come in here name dropping. How long you had the knowledge before Prince told you that? Lot 120 said, I've had the knowledge since the 60s, young man. Right. You gotta stop. You gotta stop. Like I'm trying to hold my composure here and not laugh. I'm trying to hold my composure here and not laugh. But if you had the knowledge in the 60s and Prince had to tell you that if you put the wisdom before the knowledge, that's how you born a misunderstanding. Woo. So you had knowledge since the 60s, right? What year was you physically? What year was you physically born? Got to find truth in the building. You know, divine truth, we was looking for you, we didn't know what happened, you disappeared. You disappeared at the Sean Proof. Then when I think, yeah, we had 2 meetings. What year was you born, Rock 120? And see, I'm gonna tell y'all something. Don't sleep on Rock 120. It could be true. Like, look, the brother came here the other week, right? And you know, he starts telling us, you know, all of the stuff about, yo, you know, he's from the 60s and all of that, right? But he don't know his lessons. You know what I'm saying? And it's like certain history or whatever, like he's chopping it up, right? So, you know, we let him have it, like, yeah, beat it. You know what I'm saying? And then he showed back up. And when he showed back up, all of the first wars, they knew him. Like the older brothers, they all knew him. Like, oh, snap, what's up, man? But listen, you know, 3 to 5%. Everybody, you know, so yeah, you know, he still got it. So, you know, this brother is possible. You know, he wouldn't be the first person that, you know, alright, divine truth. Rock 120 said, older than the sun, moon, and stars. Son, you asking too many questions, son. What happened to the Zoom meeting? And why is your man attacking the foundation like that? I mean, the Zoom meetings is popping. You're not down with us. And what is it your business? What we doing at the Zoom meetings? You know, I'll have, you know, we've even had an in-person meeting. So it's not just Zoom. We left you behind in the 60s. You said, why is your man attacking the foundation like that? All right, look, I told you once before, Rock 120. I'm going to tell you again. On whatever day you're ready, right? You know, preferably, let's make it a Thursday. We know where he's at, right? We roll up on Sunyas. You know, because see, look, you know, I don't know why, you know, do you know me? Because you keep talking like you know. Truth rules. Ah, man, hold on. Let me just one last thing. We're going to get back to the truth rules. And we really do got, hold on, let me see how much battery. Woo! Battery power almost gone. So we're going to do what we can, truth rules. But listen, I just want to show Rock 120 how we can do this. Because this is how I used to do it, Rock 120 back in the days, right? Look, we roll up, especially because, look, you know, Sunyas fancies himself a martial artist, right? So look, this how we're going to do it. We're going to take a page. If everybody wants to know how I used to roll up back in the days, right? This is how we're going to do when we roll up on Sunyas. We're going to say, peace, God. I heard you were talking some bullshit. You know? Then if he say one wrong thing, we kick his ass. How about that? It's just one condition, Rock 120. You gotta come outside. If you're in trouble, you need me to talk to your moms, I talk to her for you. If you need me, but you got some chores you need some help with, so you come outside. No. Why we gotta look it up on YouTube when we know where Sunyas is? You said you from the 60s? You said you had knowledge since the 60s. You a man, right? I don't want to make no assumptions. Because I'm saying, if we men and we know where he is, why are we going on YouTube? We all already heard the statement. We already heard the statement. And on this channel, we've heard the whole video. I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you. But just let me know when you're ready. So, wow, we only got 1% battery left. Truth rules. We're gonna have to, well, look, we did a whole video, so you'll be able to go back and look at it, you know what I mean? We're about to go out any minute. Let me turn the music on, you know what I'm saying? Put that a little bit low in the background while we flowing out, you know what I'm saying? Little Hellfires for Rock 120 there, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, basically, the difference